Bible Scrolls. I am your gracious host, Mr. Bobby Shades. And this is Bridging Things. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you accountability. Let's go. So, family, Jerry Jones, NFL owner, big-time bigwig, I think the Dallas Cowboys. I follow basketball, so forgive me if I don't know. But I believe the Dallas Cowboys. Anyway, there was a photo 65 years ago, unearthed, 1957. And you see Jerry Jones amongst of teenagers. And the crowd was white. And there was integration that was taking place, busing in black students to a particular school out there in, I guess, Dallas, Texas, wherever it was. And he's there. He's looking. Stephen A., ESPN, commentator, reporter, newscaster, celebrity, whatever you want to call him. Not a fan of his. I think he's very bellicose. That's just my personal thing about him. But he said something that I have to agree with. When the photo first came out, everybody jumped up. Oh my God, Jerry Jones, he's a racist. He's a racist. Look, he's amongst the crowd of youthful guys, these youths that are trying to block these young black people from coming in, from busing and integrating and blah, 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 blah. And Stephen A. had the same sentiments that I did. You don't know the background of what that photo is. You see a kid about 6-7 rows behind from the young black students trying to come in, and he's just like this. His comment, Jerry Jones, was that it was just a curious period in time. It was just looking. Stephen A. said, you don't know what was happening. You could have been, just, watching. In my humble opinion, he could have been coming out of class. He could have, seen a group of people. Who doesn't do that? Who has not done that? You see a group of people, you go, what's going on? You look. So there is not much context as far as background for me to jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, he's a racist, he's wrong, he shouldn't be there, y'all. You see his true colors. Now, it's always been stated that the NFL, primarily more than any other sport, is like that of the slave trade. You got the strong black bucks, and there are whites there too, can't say name. Strong black bucks, and they're all picking and choosing, who's going to be drafted and whatever, just like during the period of slavery. There's a famous book on it too. I'll tell you about it tomorrow. I can't remember it right now. Nonetheless, Stephen A., he made that comment, and I agree with him. There's not enough context. However, there's another gentleman, another newscaster, who said something which I found fascinating, and that I agree with. He said, okay, so he was curious, right? When does he take accountability for being there? No. When does he take accountability 65 years later for his sentiments now? Is he held accountable, or we just leave it at, he was curious? And the gentleman stated, yes, he was amongst that crowd and he was looking, but you got to pick a side now. You have hundreds of blacks that work under you. You are a billionaire from the organization, the NFL organization, the Dallas Cowboys, and many players are black. When do you say, yes, it was a curious time, which the gentleman did state it may have been a curious time, but if you realize what he was doing when he came out and said, yeah, it was a curious time, he was literally absolving himself of any being held accountable. Looking back on it now, he's absolving himself and all those around him, because truth of the matter is that there were those that were bred, groomed, brought up with a racist mentality. They were there going, yeah, we don't want them niggas up in here. What are you doing up in here? We don't want them. Get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. Go back to where you belong. You know, we all know the rhetoric. We all know the slogan. We all know the words. We all know. So, here it is 65 years later. Does he pick a side, or does he still say, well, is he still now the 80-year-old man that is still curious? You were curious when you were 14, 15, but are you curious now? You said nothing. Then again, most NFL owners said nothing when Colin Kaepernick took a knee. It was a very controversial period because Colin Kaepernick took a knee during the Star Spangled Banner commencement. And many people felt you are spitting in the face of armed forces, of individuals, young people, black, white, red, brown, whatever color, culture, that are defending our freedom and our safety. You were doing it during that period of time. Colin Kaepernick's point was, sorry, I don't mean to do it during that period of time, but it's the only way I can get your attention. It's the only way that I can get your attention to say, hey, there's a system that's wrong here. There are too many blacks that are getting killed by police officers. There are too many this, there are too many that's taking place. And everybody's just, it's business as usual. Big controversy. Nobody wanted to take a knee, but then George Floyd takes place. The death of George Floyd, as well as others. And then slowly but surely, they were like, oh, shit. Yeah. What was a blind eye you couldn't not see anymore? You have to look at that. And then they started to take a knee, and then they started to, we are one, we're here for you. But before that, they weren't. There was the fear amongst billionaires, NFL owners, and what have you. I may lose my job. I may lose my credibility. I may lose this team. I may lose this. I may lose that. There was a selfishness. So we're in the age of the Black Lives Matter. Whether you like them or not, we're in the age of that. We're in the age of the Me Too movement. We're in the age of a conscious awakening and awareness. Now, Jerry Jones can have an attitude and say, well, yo, you know what? My money's so long, I don't have to tell you shit. There's nothing I need to tell you. My money long enough. I have to answer to you. Who you? Come into my caliber. Now we talk. But until then, I don't have to tell you nothing. It was a curious time. But the moral obligation, the human existence, the human kindness to say, you know what? It was a curious period in time. But the truth of the matter is that, you know what, racism is wrong. That's all he has to say. Racism is absolutely wrong. If I had some ideologies that was put upon me as a youth, from family members or friends or whatever, they're gone. They're dispelled. Because the truth of the matter is that there are some fine people, irregardless of color, in this world. But he absolves himself. There are those whites, I'll put it this way, that have blacks as a trophy. Didn't think I was going to say that. Example, there was a woman that I worked with many, many years ago. It was a nurse. She's since passed on. I worked in an emergency room for a number of years. And she was Irish. She used to say, my blacks, my blacks. So we were her children, her trophies, her gifts. Paula Deen, I believe it is, the chef. that was going to host a plantation party, and where the people that worked under her and catering service would be dressed as slaves, and the other people would be dressed as slave owners. Her racism was so embedded, she couldn't make the distinction. She goes, yeah, they're my niggas. Those are my niggas. To her, it was a common play. And there are many people that are like that in the South. And there are many blacks that go along with that. They're like, yeah, I'm a nigga. That's my nigga right there. It's interesting because the terminology of nigga amongst blacks is to diffuse the ferocity of his existence. I know there are those people that are going to be like, well, it's still wrong to say. There are blacks that are probably going to be like, well, it's still wrong to say, but it's not uncommon. What's up, nigga? What's up? Shit, I hear women say, bitch, stop playing. Bitch, where you been? And they say that. Is it that she's a bitch? No. That's her girl. Same thing with the word nigga. But there are those whites that terminology is so commonplace that it's like, I'm not offending anyone. That's my nigga right there. Them's my niggas. Easy. So, and I'm not saying this to give a pass to any white person that has that ideology. All I'm saying is, be aware of the fact that the times are changing and have been changing. And there's a right and a wrong way of doing things. And there's a time and place for anything and everything. That's the God honest truth. There's a time and place for anything and everything. So the question begs, should Jerry Jones be held accountable? And just don't come out with some scripted, his PR handlers to appease and assuage the masses that are be like, well, come on, Jerry, what's your thoughts? There are those people that do have a particular thought pattern when it comes to not knowing a particular culture. You come across an Asian culture, and you're either white or black, it doesn't make a difference, and you're thinking that they eat Chinese food all day. That's their delicacy. And that they all speak, and you have to be like, do you understand me? Do you understand my words? And they'll be like, I just graduated from MIT, and I have a degree from Harvard. And, when you don't know. There are those people that, like I stated before, that have this ideology of that's my niggas. And they're white. Because that's how they were bred and groomed and grew up to be. I remember one time there was a gentleman that I had worked with. He thrusted me in the category of the younger guys in the office. I could tell by the way he spoke to me. Especially one phrase, you behaving yourself? Mind you, I hardly ever spoke to this man. You behaving yourself? I despise that question. You behaving yourself. Who the are you? My normal comeback are you? Are you doing things that your wife shouldn't know about what you're doing, or your girlfriend or something? That's normally or your boyfriend. That's normally my comeback. I truly despise that question. Am I behaving myself? Who are you? You don't know me from a hole in the wall. Anyway, so we had a function, and I had to speak, and when I spoke, he was like, I could see it in his face, like, oh. From that day forward, man spoke to me like a straight A gentleman at all times. I'm not some black kid or whatever you thought of me. Got smarts. My linguistics is up there when I want it to be. Am I patting myself on the back? I guess I am. I know. Having fun doing it though, and not being conceited behind it either. Anyways, that was today's question for the day, family. Should Jerry Jones be held accountable for not addressing a period in time that does not bode well for how he looks in the public eye? And that's it. Anyway, let's give thanks that we are 6 feet above ground and not below, and that those in our inner circle are in the same vein. I am your gracious host, Mr. Bobby Shades. This is Bridging Fears. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. And see you guys in the next clip. Talk to you soon.